Hi, it's Paul Sladkus, Good News Planet. I'm here with Stephen Sladkus. Stephen, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm going to let everybody know right up front, you have the same last name as I do.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm fortunate enough to say that. Yes.
And I'm fortunate enough to say that. And I've known Stephen for a long time as a result of our being relatives. And that's a great thing. I know his dad, his brother, and a wonderful family and a very prominent family, I will say, here in the New York area and in Florida, very successful. And the field that he's very successful in fact, I'll tell you, I've heard many people, when I say the name Sladkus, they go, are you that great lawyer? So I'm either going to be your dad, I'm going to be you, I'm going to be your brother. Your dad was a specialist in divorce, right? I mean,
right. That's right.
He was like the king of that, and you're like the king of condos and co-ops, and maybe more things. And your brother in Atlanta, I'm not sure what he does.
He does all intellectual property law.
Intellectual, well, these are an intellectual group. family trait. I miss those genes though. See, I came from the shoe business and I like show business. So Stephen, how you doing?
You know, thank goodness I could say no complaints, even though we're all going through this craziness of COVID together.
Okay. How do in your let's say in your line of work in the condominium, and I live in a co-op and I have a condo in the Hampton thing out there, and I've been on the boards, and I, to be honest, I've had my challenges. I added a few rooms in the backyard legally, community board legally, landmarks legally, next door neighbors legally, upstairs neighbors, everybody else, and it still took me 4 years. So how did that happen? No. What is it sometimes about the scenario? Is it a little bit of a phenomenon? Co-ops, I mean, co-ops are, right? No.
Well, co-ops you'll mostly find in New York, not really many other places. I mean, they are in some other states, but they are primarily in New York. The rest of the building structures, typically, you'll either see condominiums or just regular rental type properties.
Okay. Now, one thing that I remember when I moved to New York, because I'm from Tarrytown, from Westchester, so I was afraid to live in New York. And my wife's a Brooklyn girl, and I had to go in, and I'm scared. Even though I worked in here, but I ran out of here every night. But now I'm here 35 plus years or whatever. The comment that came to me early on was, the hardest thing in New York is to find a place to live.
It's true.
Why is that? I mean, there are so many places, but what's the difficulty, would you say, in finding a place in New York to live?
Well, first of all, I mean, there are so many different areas. You have to find an area that suits you. I mean, that's number one. And number two, after that, I'd say is the price point. I mean, that's what prohibits many people from coming to New York City or Manhattan, maybe in particular. Are the prices for quite a bit of time were sky high, but you know, unfortunately, now today's market, there's just an abundance of rental properties, which is driving the rental prices way down. There's a tremendous inventory of condominiums for sale, whether they're new construction or just existing that are for sale. And you know, with the abundance of inventory, that drives the prices down. It's making Manhattan a lot more affordable for people right now because of the pandemic.
So talking about the pandemic, and with, I'll say, with the blessings from above, and we get through this, and a shot or two in our arms. You need both shots, everyone. So don't run away after the first one if it hurts. Just pretend you were a little kid and it hurt, but you came back for more, knowing that you're going to be healed potentially from that. Okay, I think they're going to be talking a lot about that kind of scenario. But in any case, so why do I think, living here on the Upper West Side, why do I think New York will always be New York, and that if it's one in, one, I mean, I've lived here all these years. It seems to me, one in, one out. Somehow there's a cachet here. What do you think the cachet, say, is in Manhattan? Let's just
Well,
say
look,
that right now.
the cachet, it's clear to me. Restaurants, theater, any other forms of culture, museums, where that all has, gone down to nothing or virtually nothing. So the attractiveness isn't there. But that said, you don't need a crystal ball. I'm going to say you. The world does not need a crystal ball to see that New York will 100% be bouncing back from this. There's no question about it. I mean, look, everybody thought everybody was going to flee from New York after 9/11. And, whether people have short memories or not or whatever, New York flourished. Then we had the financial crisis in 2008. Everybody thought, oh my God, everybody's got to get out of New York. Our property values are, going in the toilet. And miraculously, a few years later, everything came back. This is another blip on the radar. It's a bit of a reset button for some industries, I think, like for instance, restaurants that maybe shouldn't have been making it, didn't make it now. And maybe a new restaurant will pop up in its place that'll be better and do better. But there is no question in my mind that the residential and commercial real estate markets also will come back with a vengeance. And New York will always be the center of, the planet and as a place to go and live.
Let me ask about commercial, okay? Because a lot of people are, I'm calling you from my bedroom, right? And I'm able to have this whole conversation. It's just like we were sitting next to each other. Of course, it'd be more wonderful to sit next to you, but in essence, I'm doing it. What I got to do here to get the story, let's say, in my example, and then there's other people, around that are calling into their companies, and they're sitting on a beach chair somewhere in Miami, and so. So what do you think? Do you think that that's concerning in the sense, because Manhattan really, let's say, is a commercial town to a big degree, right? They put up a lot of corporate buildings, right? How do you think that's going to play out?
So right, when I guess in referring to commercial, maybe we're talking about like an actual office building, let's say,
right? Okay.
Right? As opposed to a commercial store on Madison Avenue.
Right.
Okay. I mean, office buildings, and I'm experiencing this in my own office. We never thought in a million years that we would be able to do well or do as well as we've been doing all these years with so many people working outside the office and working from home or remotely. But it's worked. And it's not only worked for my business, it's worked for thousands upon thousands of other businesses. So, when I see every day going into my office that about 1/3 of my staff comes in every day, it makes me think on one hand, wow, I got a lot of unused space here that I'm paying a tremendous sum of rent for. What are we going to do? Should we be downsizing? Should we whatever, space-wise, that is. But there's another part of me that thinks and knows that even though we've all proven to ourselves and others that we can be productive working from home, as you're in your home, I'm in my home, there are a bunch of things missing from that. And especially if you're in an office setting, and I'll use mine as an example, camaraderie and going in and seeing your work colleagues / friends every day. Being able to bounce ideas and questions off of one another immediately, as opposed to having to set up a Zoom or something like that. Walking down the hall and taking care of a billing issue that you have to take care of. There's no question in my mind that it is exponentially more efficient to be in your office with people and more productive. So I think people, once they are able to come back to their offices, are going to realize exactly how much they miss that once all the staff starts coming back. And that will certainly drive the landlords of office towers and developments like that, and help sustain them better than what they're feeling right now. Because a lot of people are walking from office leases feeling, hey, I could do all this from home. What do I need the space for anymore? but I think majority of people are going to realize we do need a brick and mortar existence and a place for all of us to go.
Well, I hope so, because in that I came from the shoe business. I had a little shoe store. Okay, I just use that as an example. I wanted to see my daddy's shoe store, and and without my little daddy shoe store in little Tarrytown, where people sort of gathered and talked and so on and so forth, it's sort of like the same thing. I'm sort of like not anti mail order, but semi anti mail order, buying everything over the internet. I'm concerned that I don't know if I'll have anything on my street here outside. And I think the same thing then applies to that corporate world. Will there be any restaurants, or, everybody can just make the food in their own house and sell, take out only, will a restaurant? So, these things definitely will change a little bit of our lifestyle, but I go with you. I hope that they come back. Maybe the rents will lower as a result of that, and people won't make as much as they had. But on the other hand, this is an expensive town, and to keep it running, to the taxes, right?
Yeah, 100%. But even if the rents go down a bit, just to entice people to either stay in their current spaces or rent new ones, they'll eventually go back up with regular escalations and everything else. So things will get to a better place.
Aha, all right. I like optimism. That's a good thing. Well, how come you're a lawyer?
Oh boy, I pass out when I see blood. I was pre-med in college. So I decided, if you're not going to be a doctor, I guess you have to be a lawyer.
Okay, all right. That's a Sladkus trait that I didn't take. Doctor's a lawyer. I just tell my grandkids, doctors are lawyers. I don't know.
No, I think I'm also a lawyer because, as you know, my father, before he retired, was a practicing matrimonial lawyer for many years, and a very prominent guy. And, growing up, I used to go to his office, and I used to carry his bag for him. And I used to work in his office in law school, and then a little bit after law school. And I always admired his drive, his intellect, and his success. And I thought, I can do that, or hopefully do better. And,
Well, your dad's an exceptional lawyer. And so you learn from, I'll say it, not just because you're related, but your dad's the best. And
thank
what he
you.
does, he's so smart. He's very, very strong. He was so strong that I ended up not using for my own matrimonial divorce, to be frank with you. And only because I needed a little easier scenario. Your dad knew he was right. I ended up being okay because I dealt with it the way I felt I had to deal with it. And I really paid attention to his advice, okay, and what he said. And I probably would have won more in many respects, if you call it win and lose, but I learned a tremendous amount from him. And I know that. But he also dealt with judges too, didn't he? Have some involvement with the judges here in New York?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I think what you might be thinking of is he was a small claims court arbitrator. I don't think he ever acted as let's say a civil court judge, or certainly not a Supreme Court judge. But he was an arbitrator for 30 plus years doing it, and he loved it. In small claims. And he used to drag me, and then I became a small claims court arbitrator.
That's great. That's great. And the future for you? What do you think, Stephen?
The future for me? Look, I mean, God willing, my family stays good and my practice stays strong. We hit during COVID our 5th year anniversary of the existence of my firm, where we started with 33 lawyers and we have 55 now. And, I'm hoping in another 5 years, we, increase even more. That's what I hope. But I guess I hope, those are my hopes. I hope for the rest of humanity that we get this vaccine and we all get back on track and, stop this crazy disease.
Let me add about Stephen that Stephen is not only a great lawyer, he also is a great humanitarian. And You can see him at the Make-A-Wish and other organizations. He's prominent. He and his whole family. Right, he gets those kids going at it, and the whole family gets involved. That must make
That's
you
right.
feel good, right? Because they don't have to listen to you, Stephen.
No, they don't, and they, usually don't listen to me. But the few times that they do, it's nice to be able to at least have a family that supports charitable endeavors, and for my children to learn it, which I think is an extremely important trait to have.
That's interesting. About not everybody has to listen to anybody, but hopefully that the things that you do or you say, hopefully they get respected, and you move life forward. I mean, as a lawyer, they probably teach you those kinds of things, right? You share your opinion, like that arbitration, right? You share. Well, a lot of times you probably don't share anything. You just listen to what they say, what their needs are, right? What's one
I
or
do.
two good things about being, say, an arbitrator? What do you think's integral to being successful at that scenario?
Well, I certainly understanding both sides, and not only understanding the positions of both sides, but being compassionate toward each side. And if each side knows that you really do understand and feel their pain and try to work through it on each side, you can eventually typically get people to bridge a gap and resolve a dispute. I mean, that's sort of my secret to success in dispute resolution.
All righty, last question. We've been involved with peace and the International Day of Peace, and do this concert in Times Square and, God willing, in Central Park and all over the world, more so than this year, where we were all virtual. So I ask a lot of people, so if you care, what is peace for you? So Stephen Sladkus, what is peace for you?
Wow, what is peace for me? I think peace for me is being able to, ultimate peace
Anything you'd like.
I think ultimate peace is to be able to turn on the news and just see happy things and not terrible things all the time. I think, as you've created, having good news is uplifting. I think we need more of it. It helps create just a peaceful aura around everyone, and calming. And I just think all those things are part of what peace means to me, if that made any sense.
Made total, utter, complete sense for me. And I thank you for it, and thank you for sharing. And thank you for taking the interview. We've wanted to make this happen for a bit, both running around a bit, and we got it going now. So maybe that's one of the little blessings, a little bit. And some people maybe even slow down during this period while they're at home. We've heard some of those stories, right? Actually, maybe some people even clean their closets. I don't know. It's very changed. In any case, we're forward motion here. Stephen, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time.
I froze up.
You froze up, but we did get a glimpse, and I did record it, of you laying on a chaise lounge. Thanks a lot, Stephen. Appreciate it.
No, that was great. Anytime. Stay in touch.
Okay.
Bye.
Stephen, thanks. I appreciate it.
You got it. You got to stay well.
I'm going to ask you one thing, if you don't mind, because I got a couple of things that I don't know if we spoke the last time we had that little breakfast over there, but I have one opportunity with the state of New York. Did I ever explain that to you?
Not sure.
So the state of New York has, and it's been a while, wanted to invest, equity investment, to invest into my company, Milestone Broadcast Corporation.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And originally they wanted me to go out and raise $5 million. Okay. And that they were going to put in $2.5 million, and they wanted me to find a matching investor for $2.5 million. And they would take equity. They take a piece of the business. Right. Now they're said to me, we still like what you do, because I've done a lot of stuff for the state. I am a New York State company. I didn't open up in Delaware.
Right.
I've done I Love New York campaigns for whatever reason, and they think I'll bring more jobs into the state because it's in essence retirement money. Now they say, you know, we're not looking for the smaller kind of opportunities. We're looking for a little larger. So I said, and I have a proposal for 30 million. You know, I got a proposal 100 million. You know, in my business, you know, I can ask Tom Cruise to perform too if I want. You know, give him $1 million. So it's not and I'll say, you know, I can make a big feature too. I've made big time television shows that are many millions, but it wasn't my money. It was CBS's or PBS's. In any case, so I'm looking now for 30 million. They said they put in 15 million, and I have a whole company. It's not just this good news. I have whatever the multicultural marketing, advertising, which is a big deal, ethnic marketing. I have some products. I have a line of shoes, no less, reflexology shoes with the leading reflexologist maybe in the world, Laura Norman. I have a line of clothes with Claire Diab, who's the, and I think your wife's involved with some of that area. Is she a teacher of yoga or Pilates
Yes.
or something?
Yes.
Because my cousin, Margie Gelfand, I think took a class with her.
Oh.
And she mentioned it. But I have Claire Diab, who I'm going to be interviewing again tomorrow. Claire starts my show. She's Deepak Chopra's yogi for the last 25 years. And we have a line of clothes. So in essence, I got a whole company. So I just wondered if you might know somebody or a media company or some relation. And
I do know a media company. They're in Los Angeles, though. Does that matter?
No, it doesn't matter at all. I can give $300,000 to somebody that introduced me, finder's fee.
Well, I don't know, other than he might be able to steer you in the right direction. Hold on, let me just look up fast. Come on, sorry, hold on.
And thank you very much.
Yeah, so my friend owns a company called Throughline Entertainment.
Throughline?
THRULINE. And the number is 310-595-1500. And one of the owners there is named Ron West. And look, I mean, you can give him a buzz. I mean, Ron's an amazing guy. He might be able to just, if he can't help you directly, he might be able to help you indirectly. It's an entertainment company and they produce things and manage actors and actresses and all that kind of stuff. So give it a shot. Ron's a sweetheart. He just called me yesterday.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. And how can anything I can do for you or help you here, or any, if I hear of any law things?
Yeah, no, just, you know, if you hear of any co-ops or condominiums that need lawyers or real estate litigations or, you know, anything. Well, listen, I got a full service firm. I got divorce. I have trust in estates. I have corporate, you know, all that kind of stuff.
That the one with Omar that I brought you and one of your guys, that Omar had gotten screwed for some real estate transaction.
Yes. So I spoke to him for a while, and I don't want this to come out wrong. Like he wanted to pay a different sort of fee arrangement than we were willing to consider.
Okay, I've heard of that scenario.
Right.
Call it commission.
Yeah, or contingency. Yeah. So, right, exactly. So he was nice, and he was very hot on suing and going after them, but yeah, we decided to take a pass on it.
Because of
that's right. That's my recollection.
All right. Well, if I talk to him again, I'll tell him to cough up some money or shut up. How about that?
Right, there you go.
Is this the way to handle law situations?
Right. That's a good approach.
I'd be a good lawyer.
Yeah, sure.
Pay up or shut up.
Exactly. I got my whole collection list here. I got to start making phone calls today.
All right. Well, all right. Well, I'm very proud of you. I really am.
Oh,
Seriously.
thank you.
I've heard great things about you, and it's a good feeling. Let me, last question. Other relatives that we had Leslie Sladkus. Do you know that Sladkus side of things, or where?
I think there's Leslie and Joseph Sladkus.
Right.
They
And,
had the shoe store in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
right, Sladkus shoes. Do you know? And then I think they went to Palm Springs or something. Do you know? And
I don't know. I know Joey Sladkus had a daughter, Susan, who got married, had a kid, then got divorced. She was living in Atlanta. That's all I know.
And what's your brother's name? First name?
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey, and he's in Atlanta too, right?
He's in Atlanta, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It's all good.
But stay
Okay.
well. Let's keep in touch.
Okay. Thank you very much. If I can help you with any PR, marketing, or anything, just ask me.
I
I'm in.
appreciate it. And let me know if Ron can help you. I'd be curious to know.
All right. I'll give you an update on it.
Awesome. Stay well.
All right. So regards to your family.
Thank you.
They're all
so
down
much.
there with you, or what's the?
My wife and 2 kids are here.
Oh, good. You are such a mushbuka family. When I see you guys traveling here, traveling there, you have no way. In Yiddish, I kvel. Look at that. He's got that nice family. It's a beautiful thing. I'm close to my daughter and my grandkids since been there. My former
That's
wife,
great.
too. So I've been fortunate. It's a good thing. All right,
That's awesome.
go find some money.
All right. Stay well.
I'll see you later. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.